few blocks away from Central Station, you can find this beautiful building. De Waag, which translates to weighing house, was originally a city gate and part of the walls placed around Amsterdam in order to keep everyone inside the city happy and safe. And after serving as many other things, this building actually somewhat returned to its original function in 1994, because since then it houses a foundation which aims to make the internet a more open, inclusive and safe space for everyone. In other words, making everybody on the internet happier and more safe. Looks like history repeats itself. Welcome to MozFest Studio.
Go.
Hello, it's the start of a second week here at MozFest. How did you all spend your weekend? Tell us on Twitter and Slack. Let us know how your weekend went. And what a week it was. With a lot of new things I learned. I hope you did too. And now for the second and last week of MozFest, I will be updating you on what you might have missed and what you absolutely have to see this week.
Go.
First, let's check in with the status of the MozFest group photo collage, because even though we can't meet in real life, we love to see who's joining us. And it's going very well. I'm quite proud of all of you who are joining in our group photo. But if you have not contributed yet, please upload your photo on Miro. Let's make this thing even bigger. And tonight, the Data Stewardship Science Fair opens at 6 p.m. in the MozFest Common Space in the spatial chat. So come and meet the organizations showcasing projects and prototypes that intend to shift power away from the big platforms who currently control our data and back to the consumers and the communities.
Go.
And again, a lot has happened here at MozFest over the weekend, but let me highlight one of the many interesting MozFest sessions that you might have missed. And for that, we have invited Mukulu Kiyoko, who facilitated the sessions Stories from Africa by Africans for Africans, and Bufana Meenakshi, who is a wrangler of the Global Culture and Heritage Space. So hello, both of you. Thank you for joining. Mukulu, what do you think is the problem around representation of African stories in traditional media?
Thank you very much. I think the first and obvious one that comes to mind really is appropriation of African cultures to fit a gaze that's already predetermined. And most of these stories and how they're presented, they're not presented with Africans in mind at all. And there's a lot of richness and a lot of the holisticness of it that gets lost. Mm-hmm. So one of the most interesting things actually that we were discussing yesterday is the insistence of traditional media in representing African stories and the African continent as a monolith. And there's a lot of its complexity and its culture and its diversity that's lost in how traditional media. And so it's part of the things like that Talents of Nairobi and other people doing kind of what we are doing are challenging.
Yeah, for sure. It tends to be just like one image of Africa and so much more diverse than that. Bufana, this session is part of the Global Culture and Heritage Space. Why is it important to take culture and heritage into consideration when it comes to tech?
So as part of the Global Culture and Heritage Wrangler team, we decided to have technology as a factor, to which we saw it in two ways, basically. So the first one is about how the technology is utilized by the cultural groups which are slowly into extinction, and how we can utilize these existing platforms to preserve these culture and heritage. And in another way, we were also thinking how we can use these platforms to make better decision-making missions, and also utilize the marginalized groups to voice out using these platforms. And in another context, what we thought was also about how the digital cultures has evolved through various cultures, and how the technology has impacted through the cultures which are less represented or like not represented at all in the digital spheres.
Yeah, and make those visible. Very nice. Mukulu, African storytelling has an oral tradition. So what is the biggest challenge with putting these stories on the internet? It's a whole different ballgame, no?
That's a great question, but I mean, I think a way to look at it is it's still oral, just in a different sense, right? So provided it's Africans telling the stories, or rather Africans leading the way in telling their own stories, then I think, leveraging the internet in a positive way could actually be a good thing as opposed to a problem. And an example is the people doing the work of audiovisual storytelling online, right? So you shoot someone, don't shoot anybody, but you take a video of someone talking about this.
Yeah, I think we get what you mean.
It's in their words, and in there's no chance of you putting your own meaning or diluting their message, etc. Right? So how I see it and how we see it at Talents of Nairobi is that the internet actually is an opportunity to challenge narratives and to continue the culture and tradition of oral storytelling that's an inherent and big part of African culture, really. And so what's important is to make sure that we're guarding it from revisionism, we're guarding it from being co-opted to fit the narrative that traditional media has been pushing, and that, largely we're censoring the people who these stories belong to and the extent and full extent of their humanity.
Nice, yeah, and let everybody around the world be able to hear these stories. Well, thank you so much
100%,
for informing us a little bit. And if you would like to hear more of these stories, please check out their online storytelling platform called Talents of Nairobi. And there are still some seats available for the MozFest Cultural Party. So it's going to take place coming Friday. So make sure you sign up for this unique virtual event. Just look for Cultural Party on the MozFest schedule. And if you'd like to know more about everything that happened since we saw you last, Christina Gore, the MozFest Communications Manager, is posting daily updates in the general Slack channel of a few highlighted sessions that were recorded. So you can watch them on demand whenever it suits you.
Go.
And it's time to get social again. Lots of you are using the hashtag MozFest to keep us updated, and it's very fun to see what everybody's up to. For instance, Aliyah, she has stepped out of her room for a moment so that all of us could enjoy this beautiful view of Dubai with her. So thank you so much for that, Aliyah. And look at this amazing artwork. How talented. And thanks to the family resources, she's able to attend some sessions with her children without being distracted too much. So that's great. And these cool looking robots were made and programmed by kids during the New Kids Tech session. So great job, guys. I cannot wait to see what you will be able to do in the future with these skills. And we also saw this very nice gesture from Medic. They're paying for MozFest tickets for the first 3 people who joined the hashtag Community Health Toolkit. So that's very nice. Thank you for the support. And then I would like to point you to MozFest local food, because we want to know what your local delicacy is, and we'd like to share this with the MozFest community. I'll start. A favorite Dutch snack of mine is the stroopwafel. So I took a course in how to make them.
Now you put it in the iron for and it stays in there for 1 minute.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, you can put it in. Close it. Yeah. And open it. Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Wow.
And then with the knife, you put the knife into the middle of the cookie.
Yeah.
And hold it with one hand and just turn the stroopwafel.
Wow.
And you created your own stroopwafel.
My first stroopwafel, guys. Now I can eat it?
Yes, you can.
So this is the stroopwafel. This one is nice, but mine was better. But enough about stroopwafels. What is your local delicacy? Upload a picture of it, and very important, also a recipe. And you can post this one on Twitter or Slack. And then the rest of the world can enjoy your local food as well. So keep these wonderful posts coming. Let us know how you're experiencing MozFest by posting and commenting on Twitter and Slack using the hashtag MozFest. And hopefully we will see your posts in tomorrow's broadcast.
Go.
Yeah, and with so many completed sessions last week, you would almost forget that there's still a whole week of new sessions that lies ahead of us. So in order to help you choose which ones to attend this week, we've invited Erica Druska and Christopher Lawrence from the foundation Grant for the Web. And together with the designers of TechDirt, they created the simulation game, The Future of Money. Hello, guys. Lovely to see your faces. First off, Christopher, what is Grant for the Web and why did you create this foundation? Oh, I'm sorry. I think you're on mute.
Yep, I'm sorry. My bad. Grant for the Web is part of the Interledger Foundation, and it's a fund to help drive innovation, creativity, and adoption of something called the Web Monetization Standard, which allows the internet to be a peer-to-peer streaming money platform. So basically, it's how you might bring more web-like and open web-like payment systems to the internet for content creators and content consumers.
Nice. And Grant for the Web is also responsible for creating the simulation game, The Future of Money. What do you have to do in this game?
So The Future of Money is a simulation game. It's like a role-playing game where people can act in character to explore emerging methods of monetization and really to think about how to counter our current state of centralized forms of control around monetization and really look at new models of commerce that might emerge built on the web.
Nice. So in the game, you're actually alive in a world and you have to do assignments, or how should I...
Yeah, that's sort of a way to explain it. It's hosted on MozFest spatial chat platform, which is the perfect place to play this game. And you can role play as a character in one of 3 different kinds of groups. I don't want to give too much away.
No.
But
no
it's
spoilers.
fun. You can choose something that aligns with your beliefs, or you can choose something that's very different from what you believe. And you make a series of strategic decisions, and the game unfolds based on not just your decisions, but the other players around you.
Nice. Okay. So if people want to know more about that, I'm sure they just have to join the session. But Christopher, if somebody is watching now would like to contribute to the decentralization of the control of our money right now, is there something we can do? Is there like a bank you can join? Should you take all your money out of the bank?
I would make no rash recommendations. I'm not a financial advisor. But if you do create content on the web, what you might do is look to implement the Web Monetization Standard, which would then allow consumers who are optimized this way to stream, or potentially one day even to tip or to give money directly to your content. And what we think what this really starts to speak to is that right now, money and how money is operated is highly proprietary, right? It's a very closed system. So what we're hoping to do is have you combine the open web with open payments, can you actually bring more choice to everybody on the internet, to not necessarily decentralize where you keep your money, but decentralize how the web is paid for and how you pay for things on the web outside of the big service providers and the big financial institutions. So it's a small step. For sure. We're just starting this journey. And if you want, you can see all of our grant-funded projects and more at community.webmonetization.org.
Nice. Thank you so much for this tip. So check that out. And thank you guys for joining us. And you can still play the game, The Future of Money, during MozFest this week. There's one session that will take place on March 16th and another one on March 18th. Just search for The Future of Money in the MozFest schedule. And to learn more in general about sessions that are coming up, check out the featured sessions section of the MozFest Plaza. It's on the right hand under Family Resources. And one recommendation from us here at MozFest Studio is the session about the BB Finder app, which is an Afrocentric, all-inclusive business solution tool. So if you're interested, sign up for those seats. And if you might need a break, because that's also possible, register for Mindful Moments guided meditation session later today. And we're almost at the end here at MozFest Studio. So have you checked out the live stream on the MozFest Plaza? Not only are sessions live streamed, but in between sessions, we show community curated content and reruns of things you might have missed. And of course, last but not least, Don't hesitate to stay connected with us through Twitter or Slack using the hashtag MozFest. Let us know how your sessions are going, how you're feeling in general, how you felt about today's show. And the MozFest help desk is always at your service, so feel free to reach out with the hashtag MozHelp. That's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Go.